Why do Chassidim eat mezonos before davening, when Shulchan Aruch says one is not to eat before davening?
I'm going to answer the question, but I'm prefacing by saying that I'm going to tell you what I think, and I may be wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. The answer to the question is, Chassidim ate before davening, so they should have koyach to daven. Very simple. Like the famous story, which is Nayem Yem of Yud Shvat, that the Rebbe and Rivki was very frum, and she always davened the first thing in the morning, and then she became ill, and the doctor said she has to eat as soon as she wakes up. So she started getting up an hour earlier, so she davened, and then she ate at wake-up time. The Rebbe Marash went to the Tzemach Tzedek, to her father-in-law, and said to the Tzemach Tzedek that the Rebbe is not exactly listening to the doctor. So the Tzemach Tzedek called her, and told her she should eat before davening, and told her best said essence leave davening, and davening is the best better to eat, so you should be able to daven, then davener should be able to eat, uborcho barichas yomim, and you have a brocha barichas yomim, which was certainly makuyim. So Chassidim ate to have koyach to daven. Now the moment you link eating to have koyach to daven, you stipulate that if you have koyach to daven anyway, you can't eat, which is the case for most people. Person gets up in the morning, he davens with a minyan, which takes 35 minutes or 45 minutes, even an hour, doesn't exactly need koyach. A person davens all day long, then he needs koyach. I heard from a Rosh Hashiva of mine that he knew Reb Nachum Goldschmidt, Allah Shalom. Reb Nachum Goldschmidt used to wash and eat bread before davening, but he didn't eat margarine or jam, he ate trukene bread. This was the hira that he was able to wash. In Temchat Mimim and Labavish they ate mezonos, but it was mezonos which didn't exactly taste very good. It was just nourishment, energy. And not so long ago, in Lubavitch, if a person wanted to eat before davening, he needed reshus. And not everybody got the reshus from the Rabbeim. Some of the Chassidim, some of the Tmimim, and certainly in the earlier generations, by the Tzemach Tzedek, Ahmed Alter Rebbe, fasted till they finished davening, even if they davened all day long. One of the most famous personalities in Temchat Tmimim, or at least one of the greatest personalities of Temchat Tmimim, was Avram David Pevsner. They called him Avram David Klimevich. He passed away, I think he was 34. Very, very young. He was Gora Gehebener. I saw a lashon about him in the Siches, which I saw about no other Tomim. He calls Marav HaChosid HaTomim, the Frierdiker Rebbe, HaTalmid Vosek. This lashon, HaTalmid Vosek, I didn't even see by Yechonia Marozov and other greats. By Rebbe Avram David Pevsner, he was called Talmud Vosek. The Frierdiker Rebbe writes that in the years that Rebbe Avram David was in yeshiva, the Rebbe Rashab did not write all his Maimorim because he trusted Avram David's Hanochas. Do you understand very well Avram David? There's a famous word that Avram David, the Rebbe Rashab, gave out a kuntis tefillah, which is very deep. And there's very high in Yonim over there about Godless American. So somebody asked the Rebbe Rashab for whom he wrote it, and the Rebbe Rashab said, "Ves heis favemmen." Avram David was a moedendike goan and a moedendike chassid, and his neshama was his galus through his tefillah, in a way like the Chassidim or the Shainim. He was not allowed to eat before davening. He fasted every day, and he would eat when he finished davening, which was usually at night. And the way I heard it from one of my mashpiyim, that he would get up in the morning and learn Chassidus and daven, nichter, he wouldn't put water in his mouth. He certainly wouldn't eat. I don't think he would drink either. And at night, he would go eat. So he had to go to the well to collect water, Vashenzach. And sometimes he was dark and he was probably tired. The water from the barrel which he was carrying to go wash would spill. And he would say, "Is a simon of the feint nit essen. This is proof today I don't need to eat." And he would fast for 2 days. This is, of course, unfathomable. But this was a boss of Adam, a person who lived on this earth. I met, when I was in Russia 25 years ago, his nephew, his sister's son, and he described him as Avram David. It was very interesting to meet somebody who was so close to such a great Tomim. And he didn't eat for davening, he was not allowed. So traditionally, eating before davening was actually exactly that, to have koyach to daven. And if Chassidim did not have permission from the Rebbe to eat before davening, they didn't eat. Now today, it's the same old story, Baal Pe'er, Keinos Hill, everybody does. So there's a story with the Rebbe. And this story can be understood in 2 ways, which is why I'm not certain of what I'm about to say, that in the lifetime of the previous Rebbe, a lot of people came to 770 to shake lulav. They shook the Rebbe's lulav, not the previous Rebbe's, our Rebbe's lulav. And the Rebbe went upstairs and brought down a plate of mezonos. Now, and people made a bracha, made a mezonos and a leisha b'sukkah. Now, one way of looking at this was that this was a unique sukkah endeavor, because when you do something meaningful in the sukkah, you're supposed to make a leisha b'sukkah even if you don't eat. But you don't really make a leisha b'sukkah unless you eat. So if you shook lulav in the sukkah and shaking lulav is a mitzvah, you should make a leisha b'sukkah in the lulav itself. But because people don't want to make a bracha, leisha b'sukkah on the mitzvah, so the Rebbe brought down cake. So by eating mezonos, they would certainly able to make a leisha b'sukkah. That's the way it's understood. Why the Rebbe brought down cake, he wasn't just providing people with breakfast, he was helping them link the leisha b'sukkah to the al-natilas lulav. So of course the story goes that the Shmuel went over to the Rebbe, and he said to the Rebbe that this is not appropriate because it's true Taka Chassidim eat before davening, but to do it b'tznei lechet, the Rebbe was putting it out in the sukkah, everybody sees that Lubavitch has and davening. This is 70 years ago. And the Rebbe said, it's a menig Chassidim. It's a custom by Chassidim, and a custom of Chassidim is nothing to be ashamed of. So again, you could say pshat that this is unique to sukkah, but many have said, and this is how I heard it from my mashpiyim, a menig Chassidim, that now Chassidim eat before davening is a menig Chassidim. In other words, even if a person doesn't daven long, you eat in the morning for whatever koyach it will give you. In other words, whatever additional koyach will give you for davening, even if your davening doesn't necessarily warrant eating food. So it was that eating before davening required a certain unique kind of davening, and it became a minhag Chassidim. The Chassidim eat before davening.